Have you ever stopped to think that the color purple, and even certain characters being crippled in Stranger Things might be intentional? Have you ever thought that Vecna might have controlled every single character, and even the fans, throughout the entire final season? And that everything we watched was actually mental manipulation? And what if this very week, Netflix suddenly releases the real ending of the series? Wait, is it going to be in episode 9? The full theory and the proof behind this insanity is all right here in this video. And I'm going to show you everything right now. So brace yourself, because this is about to hit hard. Now listen carefully. Have you heard of the Conformity Gate Theory? No? Yeah, most people hadn't, until it completely set the internet on fire. And the worst part? It actually makes way too much sense. Here's the short version. Everything points to episode 8 being a fake ending. According to the theory, the Duffer brothers intentionally planted plot holes, visual inconsistencies, and strange details throughout the episode, all to provoke us. Because the series doesn't truly end there. It supposedly ends with a 9th episode of Season 5, which they might release this very week. Sounds insane, right? Yeah, that's what I thought too. But after I show you all the research I did for this video, if you're a Stranger Things fan, there's only one possible outcome. You're going to completely lose your mind. There's no way to walk away untouched after this avalanche of evidence. It's serious. Don't believe me? Then get comfortable. This is going to be a long one. Let's start right now. First, there's something very important you need to understand. This entire theory is built on script inconsistencies, continuity errors, and visual details that appeared all over Season 5. And here's the thing. That has never been a problem for Stranger Things. That's suspicious, isn't it? One of the biggest compliments the show always received was how tight and well-constructed its storytelling was. So how did they suddenly lose control right in the final season? That makes no sense. Unless Henry fooled everyone. Unless the ending we saw was a dream, not reality. Let's start with this. There's a scene where Lucas literally breaks the fourth wall. Watch closely. He looks straight at the camera and says, "Coincidence." Did you catch that? Lucas looked directly at us. When a character breaks the fourth wall, there's only one reason: to communicate with the audience. In that moment, Lucas stopped talking to the other characters and started talking to us, just like I'm doing right now. And what does he say? That he doesn't believe in coincidences. After that, are you really going to trust the coincidences in the show? And that wasn't the only fourth wall break. If you pay attention to the details, during Hopper's proposal to Joyce, and also during the graduation ceremony, there are background characters staring straight ahead in a very strange way. Not at the scene, at the audience. Almost like they're aware they're being watched. This suggests that Vecna isn't just controlling the characters. He's controlling the narrative for the audience too. Now let's talk about Hopper. One thing a lot of people hated was how easily he moved on after losing another daughter, 11. Think about it. Does it make any sense for Hopper to lose a daughter and then just be fine, happy, promoted back to police chief? And there's more. The ring Hopper uses to propose to Joyce? It's the exact same ring Jonathan once kept to give to Nancy. Budget issues? Not a chance. Stranger Things has never cut corners like that, especially with symbolic objects. The show is famous for being meticulous with details. Unless this repetition isn't a production mistake. Unless it's an illusion created by Vecna. Because here's the thing. The Duffer brothers don't make mistakes like this. But Vecna does. We've already seen him mess up details when creating illusions. Want another example? At the beginning of Season 5, the characters mess with the power breaker at the radio station. The gauge needle is red. Later, when Robin fries the Demogorgon, the same device appears again. But now the needle is black. Same machine, different color. And that connects directly to something the show already explained. Objects changing color inside illusions. Remember Holly's memory in the carousel? The color changed, and she noticed it. Max even explained that Vecna gets confused and can't remember every detail perfectly. So why would the gauge change color in reality? Unless it's another sign that we're inside Vecna's false reality, scrambling details again, just like he did before. Now, think about the final battle. Everything happens way too easily. The group climbs a cliff in seconds. No demogorgons. No demo dogs. No bats. No vines trapping them. They win fast. Too fast. Doesn't that feel wrong? But think about it. Isn't that exactly how dream logic works? Dreams skip obstacles. They jump steps. They ignore danger. What if the entire battle followed dream logic because it was a dream? A dream manipulated by Vecna. Feeling uncomfortable yet? Look at the graduation scene. All the students are standing with their hands clasped in front of their bodies. That pose is Vecna's signature. Henry always appeared like that. Billy did it while possessed. Well, did it multiple times in Season 5, the season where he's most connected to Vecna. But here's the weird part. The graduation robes are orange. In the 1980s, at Hawkins High, the robes were supposed to be green. That information comes from a canon spin-off book released just last month, Nancy's investigation book. So when were the robes orange? Back when Henry Creel was a student. And there's more. In the background, someone is holding a yellow sign. Can you read it? No, because there's nothing written on it. That's the kind of mistake you'd expect from a low-budget production, not from Stranger Things. GS. Unless, once again, it's a creation error from Vecna. Now, let's talk about Vic. Everyone assumed her disappearance was a plot hole. But think about it from Vecna's perspective. He doesn't really know Vic. She never actively participated in the main missions. She could have just blended into the collective mind, irrelevant to him. So if Vecna controlled the entire narrative, why would he bother giving her an ending? And if everyone was trapped in a shared dream, why would Vic even need a conclusion? What about Steve? Didn't his ending feel strange? He was a basketball player. So why does he end up as a baseball coach? That makes zero sense, unless you look at it through Vecna's memory. Vecna only ever saw Steve with a baseball bat. Season 1, bat against the Demogorgon. Season 2, bat against the Demo Dogs. So Vecna associates Steve with baseball. And based on that limited information, he creates Steve's future and gets it wrong. And it keeps going. Why does 11 arrive at the place with 2 waterfalls instead of 3? How does Max graduate after spending a year and a half in a coma? Where is Murray? Where are the military? For a show this detailed, these aren't small mistakes. They're too many, too consistent, and I haven't even reached half of them. Why? E.T. But one error is absolutely impossible to ignore. Joyce says Will was 11 years old when he disappeared. He was 12. How do you mess that up? The Duffers wouldn't, but Vecna might. In the final sequence of the series, down in Mike's basement, there's a very specific object in the background, right behind the characters. A board game box. But it's not just any game. It's the What's a Game. And now you might be asking, okay, Pedro, what does that have to do with anything? If you watch the dub version, you probably missed this. But in the original English audio, Vecna uses an alias. He's called Mystico Det, the exact same name printed on the game box. So let me ask you this. What are the odds that in the happy ending scene, they randomly place a board game in the background that shares the same name as Vecna's disguise? In an episode directed by the creators themselves? Do you really believe that was innocent? A coincidence? If this theory is right, nothing is random. And this has happened before. Everyone knows the Duffer Brothers are masters of cliffhangers and hidden setups. Back in Season 4, there's a frame where a box appears behind Will, and written on it is the name Henry. Vecna's real name. Was that accidental? Of course not. 2 different seasons. 2 different boxes, both carrying Vecna's presence into the scene. That's not random. That's a hidden signature. Now let's talk about cliffhangers again. At the beginning of Season 5, 11 tells Mike something very important. She says this isn't a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. He can't just write the ending. Remember that? But then what happens? The series ends with Mike narrating the ending of the D&D campaign, perfectly mirroring the endings of the characters themselves. Even the end credits suggest that Mike wrote a Dungeons & Dragons manual inspired by their adventures. So, in the end, Mike does exactly what 11 said was impossible. How would that be possible? Unless that ending wasn't real. Unless it was a constructed reality. And there's more. During that scene where Mike tells the ending, Max questions him. She challenges him. She asks if that's really it. If that weak ending is all there is. And you know where else that happened? Right here, with us. Isn't that exactly how you felt after the finale? Like, wait, that's it. Is this really the ending? Weren't these guys supposed to be geniuses? So think about it. What if this fake ending theory is true? What if they intentionally held back the real ending, Episode 9, and waited for everyone to react exactly like Max did? Sit with that feeling. Hold on to it. Now, here's the final piece, the one that ties everything together. Have you noticed the obsessive amount of the number 7 throughout the series? Let's list a few. The screen goes black for 7 seconds when Steve falls. Another 7 seconds of black between 11's sacrifice and the 18-month time jump. In Season 1, Will was missing for 7 days. In the final credits, a die showing the number 7 appears next to the D&D manual. And that manual alone already suggests that Stranger Things is a fantasy. In cinema language, an open book means the story is beginning. A closed book means the story is over. That's a rule that's existed for almost 90 years, since Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And the book here is closed. But inside the manual, several pages show the number 7 handwritten repeatedly. More. In the very first scene of the series, Will rolls a 7 and is taken by the Demogorgon. In the final image, the die shows 7 facing up. So ask yourself, did Vecna take us, the audience, the same way the Demogorgon took Will? And it keeps going. In Season 5, 11 identifies exactly 7 seconds between thunder strikes in the Upside Down. At the end of Season 3, Hopper and Joyce schedule their date for 7 p.m. Vecna is hit 7 times during the Season 4 battle. Way too specific. Way too consistent. And remember how this video started? With Lucas looking straight at the camera and saying he doesn't believe in coincidences. Exactly. The official Stranger Things account posted 2 images on Twitter, a Season 5 banner followed by a black, empty screen as if something was missing. Fans of the Conformity Gate Theory believe this was a hint that more is coming, possibly a hidden episode, with an announcement expected on January 7th. The date mirrors Season 1, when Joyce was mocked for 6 days before being proven right about Will. Counting 6 days from January 1st leads again to January 7th, reinforcing the series' obsession with the number 7, which also aligns with Orthodox Christmas and Netflix's release pattern. In the final credits, a handwritten note, JK95, appears in a Stranger Things book. Fans speculate it could reference Season 5, a real Episode 9, and even Jane and Callie returning to expose the illusion. The Duffers promised a massive final twist and asked viewers to pay attention to every detail. Yet no clear twist has happened so far. And outside the show, official merchandising adds fuel to the theory. A Stranger Things flashlight with a black light reveals a hidden message inside the box. Vecna lives. What is next?